Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. Today I would like to go over a rant that I've had for approximately 22 years now, which is that when you pay for content, whether it is a product, a service, a game, or just a television show, you often get a worse experience than what you would get if you pirate it. Now, back 22 years ago, when this whole concept was new, of instead of carrying a portable DVD player with a book of DVDs, you could just carry a media player that has a hard drive that has compressed versions of it on it. It was kind of understandable that many companies had not caught up to the modern reality that people want the ability to be able to purchase and view media across their devices in the way that they see fit. But now that it's 2023, in my opinion, there's really no excuse for the fact that you get a worse experience when you purchase media than you do when you pirate it. This is something I went over in this video over here, why I would never pay for YouTube Premium ever again. In this video, I put in the thumbnail, piracy is completely justified. I'm talking about the experience that I had when I was paying for Premium for about 7 years and how that experience differed from using an application called Redacted. When I use the application that is Redacted, you would get a better experience in a number of ways that I talked about in that video, even though you weren't paying for it. And I'm one of those people that is absolutely happy to pay if I get value for a product or service. This is one of the most common ad hominems that comes up when I bring up this argument. You know, you'll always see somebody in the comments in these types of videos that goes, "You're poor," or, you know, "Get a real job," or "Why don't you want to pay for things?" I have a company that I've had for 15 years that I'm the owner of, that I built from nothing. I have a full-time job, and I also have a YouTube channel with almost 2 million subscribers. I am making this video in a house that I bought and paid for. I have bought and paid for my vehicle. I've bought and paid for my home. I am responsible for supporting half a dozen people. I'm not going to get into like exacts of income. Needless to say, I'm a grown-ass man. That stuff does not apply to me. If there's a particular artist that I like and want to support and I want to see them live, I have no problem paying $250 for a ticket to that event to do so. If I see a YouTube video that I like and I watched it with an ad blocker on, I have no problem donating $10 or $20 if I felt that that content creator has brought me value. The criticism that comes up all the time when somebody brings up this reality is that you are broke, you are a pleb, and they try to shame you into believing that you should be okay paying money to get worse service. And for me, this argument falls flat. I am not rich, but I am not broke either, and I can afford to pay for content, products, services, and software, and I am more than happy to do so when I see that they provide me with value. So today I would like to go over what happened when I was, when my girlfriend decided that she wanted to watch a television show. And I decided that since I'm a grown-ass man and I'm 34 years old, that I'll stop going my teenage ways of, you know, doing what I would do if I wanted to catch the fish in my backyard and, you know, using a net to catch the fish, hint, hint, cough, cough, and actually doing it properly. So this was a television show that my girlfriend said that she really liked and she wanted to see more episodes of. It's a show called Dahmer, and I saw that it was on Netflix. Now, I had gotten myself a nice new television, which you could see here, and I also have a pretty nice setup in my living room, so I thought I would pay the extra money to Netflix to be able to watch this show in 4K. So instead of paying for the cheap plan, I pay for the expensive plan. I go to load up Netflix in Firefox, my web browser, on my Linux home theater PC, because I would sooner die than connect my television to the internet. You're not paranoid if they're after you. There's no way in hell that I'm going to have closed source software in my home with a microphone in it that connects to the internet. We're not doing that. There are a number of reasons that you shouldn't do that, and I will link many of them below. This here is an LG G3 OLED television that also has cat scratchers on the side. That's my way of trying to bribe my cat into not scratching my speaker. We'll see if that works. In all seriousness, this is in the menu of this television. If you go in any one of the default profiles and you go to privacy and terms, what you'll notice with the smart television is there's an option called do not sell my personal information. And because we live in a dystopian world, this option is not by default checked. It should be the default when you pay over $3,000 for a television that you do not sell my personal information. But even when you pay that much for a television, the default is that they will sell your personal data, which is why you should never connect a television to the internet, particularly when these televisions have microphones built into them that allow them to listen to what it is you say in your living room. There are many other settings hidden in here that talk about being able to see what it is you're watching or what you're doing, to be able to make recommendations to you and personalize advertisements to you if you browse around the television. And 100% of those options is the consumer unfriendly option, and the advertiser grabs your data, sells it, and uses it however they please option. Needless to say, no smart TV in my home. I hook it up and I notice this looks really bad. It's not just that it is low resolution and low bit rate, it's just a bad looking stream. And I realize that there's a cheat code you could do on on Netflix apparently, where you Control-Shift-Alt-D. And when you hit Control-Shift-Alt-D, what you see is that you are actually getting a low bitrate 720p stream, even though you paid for 4K. So I'm just kind of curious here. I didn't really know anything about how this works, but like a part of my back of my head thought, I thought it was like a paranoid thought to have. Are they actually ruining the experience for somebody who's using a computer because they want you to use closed source platforms that give you more control? I'm like, there's no way they're that petty. No way. This must just be an old video that was recorded in low definition that they only have a low bitrate stream of, or maybe Netflix needs some more money, so they're overcharging people for the 4K ones, but sending them the 720p ones. There's no way that this is actually intentional. So I decided, just out of curiosity, that I am going to try it on the smart TV. So I set up a separate network for the smart TV that can only connect to Netflix. My girlfriend is sitting there on the couch while I'm doing this and kind of giggling, and I'm actually sitting there setting up a network that will only allow my television to connect to Netflix. I connect my television to the internet after spending 10 minutes going through every single thing in the settings to turn off every single ad thing in it, which, by the way, on a $3,000 LG OLED should be opt-in, not opt-out for tracking. FULG for doing that. I noticed that the stream looks like this now. So before it looked like this, and now it looks like this. This is not just higher resolution. This is not just the setting in the television because I ensured that the settings for the inputs were matched. This is a night and day difference between these two streams. So, and here's the best part of it all. If I wanted to do what I would do to catch one of the fish in my backyard and use a net, hint, hint, cough, cough, I actually could have gotten a 1080p version of this instead of the 720p one that they're sending me. So I paid you over $20 a month and you give for 4K and you give me 720p. But if I didn't pay you, I could get 1080p. And the only way to get the full resolution stream if I pay you is to use your bullshit closed source application that is built into a closed source television that by default spies on me, and that there is a legit history with the CIA of hacking those televisions to turn them into microphones. And this is where the problem begins. Now, luckily, I have a very understanding girlfriend. This is the same woman that was more than happy to utilize Signal as a messenger rather than text messaging or anything else. That was a tell one that your marriage material. Tell two is when I said my apologies for going through all this rather than watching the show. And she said, oh, I actually spent a half hour looking through catalogs to find a business television for my living room because all modern quality televisions connect to the internet or smart TVs. And I wanted a TV that wasn't smart. So good on you for what you're doing. The fact that my girlfriend is okay that we're interrupting a date for 30 minutes so that I can do an experiment and set up a separate network to my TV to only connect to Netflix just to figure out if I'm getting fucked, that's marriage material right there. But that's a topic for another video. This is not Courtney Ryan or Kevin Samuels. We are not a dating advice channel. Needless to say, the one piece of dating advice you'll get here at Rossman Repair Group is if your significant other says that they spent an extra half hour in a catalog to try and find a television that does not connect to the internet, might just be the person you're going to be having children and grandchildren with. But I digress. This is the reality of the modern experience. I paid you money because I wanted 4K, because you advertise 4K on your website. So then when I go to your website to view the video, you give me 720p. If I had pirated your material, I would have paid nothing for it, and I would have gotten 1080p. I am treated better pirating Netflix content than I actually would be treated paying for Netflix content. And the only way to get the same treatment on Netflix by paying as I would through piracy is to use a closed source application on a device that I cannot verify what information it is sending off that has a microphone in it that connects to the internet. Now, I know somebody's going to say, well, Lewis, you could get 1080p with Netflix when you pay for it in your browser if you do your research and you install an extension, which you can do if you're using Chrome. There are extensions called Netflix 1080p and Netflix Higher Quality that try to bring a higher quality viewing experience. I don't know if it tricks Netflix into thinking that the DRM is there when it's not or whatever the hell it is, but you can use an extension like that to get higher quality. And there are a couple of issues that I have with this. The first is that having to read tutorials in Google to figure out how to get a high quality version, that's what you should be doing when you're pirating, not when you're paying somebody $20 to $25 a month for a service. When you are paying for a service, you should not have to Google jack shit. It should simply give you the highest quality possible without you having to Google workarounds to make something work. I've had my repair company now for almost 15 years, and one of the reasons that we have as many good reviews as we do, many of them dating back fact, before I even registered this YouTube channel, is because I understand that my customers want to pay me for a product or a service, and they want to feel like I'm their partner. They don't want to feel like I am their adversary. If you want to try to fix your device yourself, I'm not going to hide that information from you or try and bullshit you and tell you that it's impossible. Rather, I'll come up with a complete guide that tells you here's exactly how to avoid paying me. If the manufacturer covers what it is you want to pay me for under warranty, I will not accept that business unless you explicitly understand that what it is you are trying to pay me for is something the manufacturer will do for free, and you're better off going there. As a result of the way that I conduct my business, my customers feel like I'm their partner, like I have their best interests in mind. They don't feel like they have to have their third eye open to figure out how it is I'm trying to screw them, nor do they feel like they have to download secret tools and install them to prevent me from screwing them. And that's an important part of the relationship. The moments that you pay extra money to get 4K, and then you realize you're actually getting 720p, and you have to Google and do research to figure out a way to trick the service into giving you 1080p, half the pixels that you're actually paying for, or a quarter depending on the math. At that point, that's an adversarial relationship. I don't want to pay people to enter adversarial relationships. I am more than happy, and most customers are more than happy to pay good money for products and services, but they want to feel like the creators of those products and services are their partners, not their adversaries. And the problem that I find all too often when it comes to media and piracy is that the company you are paying is not your partner. They are your adversary. Yet when it comes to piracy, you will find infinite amounts of guides online that make it as easy as humanly possible for you to set up your system to get exactly what you want. There is a community of people that work together to try to get you what you need in the best way possible. They are not your adversaries, they are your partners. And all too often I find modern companies treat their customers like adversaries rather than partners, which is why many people don't feel good giving them money, and it's one of the reasons that I will never be giving Netflix money ever again. I pay people to become my partner, not my adversary. I have enough adversaries as it is, and I don't pay them. If I wanted to Google and figure out what a par2 file is and what a RAR file is and all of that, that probably means that I'm pirating. But when I'm paying good money for a service, you should not have to do that. The second thing is that the 1080p version that you get as a result of using that extension is still not nearly as good as the quality or the bitrate of the stream that you get when you stream using the closed source proprietary application that they put into the smart TV. So you're still not getting as good an experience on a computer as you would be getting if you used their locked down system. You are being punished for paying. That's the only way to interpret this. Now, some may push back and say that that is an anti-piracy measure. That is their way of protecting their revenue stream. They don't want the original 4K stream to get out there, because if that original 4K stream gets out there, then people will stop paying for Netflix. And I'm here to say that I'm not paying for Netflix ever again anyway, so you lose. Anytime you implement something like this, where you give me a worse experience for paying than I would receive through piracy, out of principle, I will not give you a dime. I will happily donate $10 to a random YouTuber after simply watching one video if I thought it was valuable. I will happily spend $250 to $300 to go with my girlfriend to the Austin Symphony Orchestra or the ballet. I will happily pay for art. I will pay for software, I will pay for hardware, I will pay for my employee services. But what I will never do out of principle is give you money to get a worse experience than what I could get for free because of artificial restrictions that you have put in place to screw with me or socially engineer the experience. That is unacceptable, and that should never be rewarded. The fact that I actually paid extra money for an HD plan and not only didn't get 4K, I couldn't even get 1080 fucking p out of you people. I got 720p with some bullshit 1 megabit per second looking garbage stream that has blocks in it that are bigger than the turds that Oreo lays after he eats a can of Reveal. Is just like... And you wonder why people pirate. You wonder why there is still such demand for this. 22 years later, if I want to pirate, I can view a great quality stream. I can view it on the platform or the operating system or the device of my choice. I can do so and see with open source software exactly what everything is doing. Or I can pay you to view it in a limited environment that is literally known for being hacked by the government so that they could listen to you. No, I am not connecting my television to the internet because you are a control freak, and I am not giving you money anymore. That is the point at which I canceled my Netflix account, and here is what I will promise. If the thing that I want to watch is only viewable via Netflix, it's not really worth it. And I'll be honest with you, 99% of mainstream entertainment at this point it does nothing for me anymore. I don't know if it's because I've gotten older and my tastes have changed and I genuinely more enjoy podcasts, independent media, independent art, or if it's just gotten worse over the years. But when there's stuff like Writers Guild strikes and things like this, I don't even notice because I'm not involved in this community at all. I'm not saying that they should be able to compete with free by offering a better deal, because it's going to be almost impossible to offer a better deal than what you get for free. Even if what you got for free wasn't great, it was free, so it's hard to complain about it. But the people offering you something for free should not be able to offer you a better product, better quality, and better experience than what you get when you pay. If you are paying, all these things should be better. I have no problem paying $40 a month for news sites that I like. No problem paying $200 to see an art show that I like. No problem paying when I find value. Because paying when I find something valuable is what empowers me to ask for value out of my customers in return when I provide them value. The reason that I don't care if somebody stomps walking out of my shop and they're like, I can't believe you're charging like $900 to replace the hats in this drive. That's a rip-off. It's because I know that my employees put hundreds upon thousands of hours into learning that skill set. I have spent over $30,000 on all the tools to do that job, and it's very easy to mess that job up. I know I'm offering good value, and the reason that I feel empowered to ask for money when I offer a good value and a good deal is because I am willing to pay when I see a good value or a good deal. The problem nowadays is that the people that are actually willing to pay for things are often getting the shit end of the stick compared to the people that don't. And then people wonder, like, why is piracy rampant? Why do people use ad blockers? I wonder, why would somebody use an ad blocker? We could just go over this with YouTube. Let me know if you use Ublock Origin with LibreWolf, or you use Brave browser with shields turned on. You don't have to give anybody your address. You don't have to confirm your address. But if you use YouTube Premium, not only do you have to pay, but you also have to give away a bunch of personal data. And they may just decide after you have already paid for the service that you need to confirm your address, or your account will be put on hold. Do you know whose people's ability to watch videos ad-free on YouTube does not get put on hold? People with LibreWolf browser with Ublock Origin installed, or people with Brave browser installed with shields turned on. Do you know who does not get this annoying notification on the screen? People who have a proper updated ad blocker. This person over here is actually whitelisted youtube.com in their ad blocker, and they are still getting a message saying that ad blockers are against YouTube's terms of service. Do you know who doesn't get this screen? The people who didn't whitelist youtube.com in their ad blocker. This is a consistent pattern, and it is not something that has gotten even the slightest bit better in 22 years. If you pirate, you probably get a better experience. Back in the day, if you wanted to pay for music, you got a 128 kilobit per second MP3 that was encoded with some garbage like Zing or Blade or whatever. And if you wanted to pirate it, you could get something that was ripped with exact audio copy, that had a log, that was compressed using FLAC or Monkey's Audio so that you retained all the original quality without any sort of lossy transcoding. And it had no DRM. The one you paid for was lossy, poorly transcoded, and had DRM. 22 years later, you still get a better experience if you are doing what again, I'm just going outside to my backyard because I have fish, and I'm just using a net to catch my fish, if you know what I'm saying. You get a better experience. That's inexcusable. It's unacceptable. And it's why more and more people each day are choosing to turn on their ad blocker. It's why more and more people each day are choosing to unsubscribe from those types of services and find alternative methods of getting their content. Or dare I say it, just opting out of the ecosystem altogether. Because here's the thing. Let's say somebody does say that there's a show on Netflix that they actually like. Let's say my girlfriend says, we really want to watch this thing and it's on Netflix. You know what I'm going to say? Let's find something else. I'm not even going to bother. I'm not going to give you the privilege of pirating your content. Because this is one saying, I'm never going to forget this, one music producer who said it. He said, you know you're fucked when nobody even wants to pirate your content anymore. Like, that's how you know you're screwed. It's not when people are, it's when nobody wants to pirate. I don't even want to pirate mainstream content anymore. I don't want to give it any attention because there's so much good stuff out there that I can watch that is not distributed through this kind of garbage. Why should I bother with yours? Honest question. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you believe that I am overreacting to this? Or do you believe that I have the right to be mad after paying over $20 a month for 4K streaming when I get like this 1 megabit per second 720p, again, bigger blocks in it than Oreo's shit after he eats a can of reveal? It's kind of annoying. It is. It's one of the most annoying things in life is to get a worse experience when you do the right thing than the people who are the criminals. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. See you in the next video. Bye now.